K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level, or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com. You're listening to K98Talk.com, the way Internet radio should be.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election debts to those who will take. Attorney General's lying even while
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
Yay, okay, I finally figured out which button it was. You ever have one of those days, folks? Apparently I'm having like 2 in a row. I have this new feature on the console that we use to put everything together that actually allows me to save my last settings, and somehow I managed to save it with one of the major buttons muted. So apologies for the last 30 seconds of dead air. Let's try this again. My name is Rick Robinson. You are listening to America Off the Rails, and as usual, we are supposed to get started sometime around 6 o'clock, but this is, of course, always Rick Standard Time. There's always a meeting of some kind, always somebody that wants to talk about something, and the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be on the air. So here we are. Okay, so just to kind of go over a little bit of what we're going to talk about today, of course, as soon as this show goes off the air, which will be probably about 6:55-ish, I know, shorter than usual again. Yay, go me. At 7, we'll be fired up with Wake Up America with myself and Denny. We'll have a guest over there with us this evening, Ruthie from the Ruthie Report, who is also, actually the sole purpose of her show is to bring the issues of illegal immigration to everyone's attention. So she'll be joining us for the last half of that show. First half will be the usual, myself, Denny C, talking about some stuff, throwing some things around, having a little bit of fun. For tonight, kind of the same general thing as always. I'm going to tell you a few things, give you my opinion on them, and one of them is likely to get my conservative card revoked. Can I just say that now? This will probably be the only time you will ever hear these words come out of my mouth. And honestly, you want the truth? The real reason that I'm a few minutes late, I kept trying to practice saying these words, and I kept throwing up in my mouth just a little bit every time I had to say them. So let me try to see if I can get through it this time. It's already started. I agree. Ew, that was a bad one. With Hillary Clinton. Oh my God. I thought I would never, ever, ever say that as a conservative. And can I just say that hurt a lot? But there's some big hubbub and a big hullabaloo going around about vaccinations. And I have to tell you, folks, I'm not trying to call anybody names, I'm really not. But if you're not willing to take full advantage of the medical care we have in this country, pardon me, see, I told you, I had to practice this for like 10 minutes. And every time I even got close, it turned into this coughing fits, regurgitation, It's not good. But yeah, so anyway, if you're not willing, or there's not a nice way to say this, but if you're not intelligent enough to realize that you live in one of the countries with some of the best medical care in the world, and the simple fact of the matter is a lot of those vaccines help save not only your children's, but other children's lives, because this is the thing that you don't really seem to take into account. There's a time frame and a window where certain children cannot be immunized because they don't have an immunization system yet. So part of the reason why vaccination is such a big deal is that helps to keep, see, I'm all discombobulated because I said I agree with Hillary. This is going to be the longest show ever because I'm like mentally picturing Hillary Clinton. It's just terrible. It's terrible. Hillary, why did you have to say something intelligible? Did you just couldn't you just go back to your Democratic rhetoric? Then I can go back to not liking you again. Well, I guess that's too nice a term because I've never really actually much cared for you at all. But the fact that I agree with you doesn't necessarily mean that that's changed either, because this is going to be a one-time thing. Trust me. Anyway, back to what I've been trying to say that I can't seem to get through because I keep going back to the fact that I agree with... I can't even say it anymore. Okay, so anyway, sorry, having a little bit of fun with it. I mean, come on. How many times is a conservative gonna be able to say, I agree with a Democrat? It doesn't happen very often. So I'm having a little bit of fun with it, but honestly, it did kind of turn my stomach a little bit, just to be perfectly honest. That being said, again, there is a practical reason for immunizations. There are smaller children who can't be immunized, so once children reach a particular age and they can become immunized, this helps protect the smaller children from those things, because there is now a case of at least one child that I know who was too young to be vaccinated, who has now been exposed to measles thanks to the open border program of our current administration. So, yeah, for those of you who don't think vaccinations are important, take a look at everything that just poured across the border and all the stuff that we haven't had to deal with since the 1960s, thanks to the medical care that we've had in place up until now. Now, I'm going to save a lot of the border talk until Ruthie's with us later on Wake Up America, but I am still going to say I am a fan of closing the border. As far as I'm concerned, nail the bitch shut until we fix the mess. Stop letting everybody and anybody come through the southern border because, we're a country of immigrants and we all came here from another place. And can't we all just get along? Yeah, sure, let's jump around in a circle, sing Kumbaya until somebody decides they want to chop our heads off. I mean, because let's face it, we're not vetting the people that are coming here. There's no telling anymore how many of these people that we've allowed just to come sauntering across the border have all of a sudden decided they're going to pick up the ISIS flag and just sit around and wait until they're activated. And I'm not an alarmist, but I'm telling you right now, it's getting to that point, whether we want to admit it or not. So the open border issue is causing multiple issues, because now we have diseases running rampant in this country we haven't seen in forever. We have way too many folks that have bought into way too much crap about vaccinations, most of which has been debunked if you bother to take a look. And it is, for the most part, still voluntary. If you don't want to vaccinate your child, then homeschool them. Keep them away from everyone else, because at some point you're going to probably have to put them in a bubble. But that being said, again, this all started because, God forbid, I had to say the words I agree with. She who shall no longer be named. And there's a reason I call her she that shall no longer be named, and we probably will talk about that here in just a little bit. Actually, that's kind of a new thing. That just kind of came to me, so I think that's how I'm going to start referring to her, since she's now basically the de facto 2016 candidate for the Dems. She is now forever, henceforth, referred to on this show as she who shall no longer be named. And you know who I'm talking about. All right, so that being said, vaccinations has been pretty big. Hillary Clinton came out and said, something smart for once. Rand Paul kind of came out and not quite sure where he was going with it, because first he kind of sounded like one of the anti-vax whack jobs, and then he basically said, well, it should be a parent's choice. Christie tried to say something, the donut got in the way, so he stopped talking and started chewing again. And there's been all kinds of uproar on social media because apparently if you are a conservative and you utter the words, I agree with Hillary, you are considered no longer a conservative, even if it is basically a common sense argument. This is coming from someone who's raised several children now to adulthood. Yes, believe it or not, I have a wife, I have children. I know some of you know me and you're like, oh my God, how is that even possible? She's as crazy as I am, is about all I can tell you. All right, so that being said, I've now the youngest child I have in my home is 14. I have 1, 2, yes, sometimes I have to count because we don't use the term step, but some of them are not my biological children. But we have raised now a total of 5 to adulthood and 1 still remaining. All of them have been vaccinated. I've not had a single case of any detrimental effects that can be traced back to vaccinations. I'm not saying there's not a 1 in a million shot, but there's a 1 in a million shot for putting a kid on a school bus. It doesn't mean we stop putting kids on school buses. There's a 1 in a million shot your kid's going to get hit while crossing the street, even if they look both ways. That doesn't mean that come a certain age you don't start letting them cross the street. I mean, it's common sense. Anything has the capability to kill you. I mean, you could be walking down the street trying to walk and chew gum at the same time, trip over your shoelace, break your neck on the curb. Let's just be real. If we're really going to look at these isolated incidents with vaccines and say, well, so Joe Bob down the street, yeah, his daughter, yeah, she had some tremors from that there mumps, measles and rubella vaccine, and my kids ain't doing none of that there now. No, that ain't happening. Nope. It ain't. Nope. I know somebody whose kid done died from that there stuff, so I ain't gonna mess with none of it no more. Nope, never again. Ain't gonna happen. I already done talked to the missus, and she said, nope. You know what, Jethro, we ain't doing none of that there. And I said, well, you know what, Martha, you right. I mean, come on, look at that kid over there. I mean, there's got to be something wrong with that kid over there. Maybe it was in their vaccines. I mean, come on, are we gonna really start being those people? Seriously? I mean, come on. I have my tinfoil hat moments. I've listened to Coast to Coast AM. Hell, late nights we carry a show that I kind of consider the internet version of Coast to Coast AM, but without as much red tape and BS. So if you haven't checked them out, you might want to. They'll be on later tonight, late night in the Midlands. Nice little pump there. But yeah, so, I mean, are we really going to start being those guys? Do I need to start playing banjo music as my intro? Maybe... And then all of a sudden somebody busts out with, you got a pretty mouth there, boy. I mean, are those really the kind of people that we're going to start being? All because we decide that people don't need to be vaccinated. And look, if you've got a logical argument for it and you feel that you've done enough research and you understand in your heart that these things are bothersome to people, then you know what? That's fine. It's your opinion. And I'm not necessarily, just because I'm having a little bit of fun with it, trying to throw everybody into the same bus here. There are just way too many people that have knee-jerk reactions to this kind of thing, and they don't do research of their own. I've done the research. I've looked into it. I've been able to debunk 99.9% of the claims that I've seen about this type of stuff, and I don't personally think that there's too much of a link between anything that's going on with the vaccines that are available today and some of the health crises that we have. That doesn't mean necessarily that I think everybody should have them or the government should make you do it, but there are certain circumstances when your right to choose as a parent should be preempted. And I think for the public health and safety and welfare of others, sometimes there may be decisions that have to be made that you don't like. So if you want to have your children in public school, they should have to be vaccinated to protect the other children in that public school from being exposed to things that they don't need to be exposed to. Or vice versa. So if you don't want to vaccinate your children, homeschooling is an option for you. you are more than welcome to do that. But please don't start talking about the fact that just because I think vaccinations are okay, that suddenly I'm not a conservative. It has less to do with what Hillary Clinton said and a lot more to do with the fact that it's just common sense. Somebody really needs to consider renaming the name of common sense, because the fact of the matter is it is not common. It is rather uncommon for anyone to have common sense any longer. You know, that reminds me of something. On the drive home, sorry, still having a little bit of acid reflux from having to say that I agreed with Hillary. But on the drive home, I actually, of course, as I usually do, was listening to Sean Hannity for the few minutes that I can hear him on the drive home. Then, of course, the 5 o'clock guy in my local neck of the woods starts, and then I listen to a few minutes of him. But they were pointing out something, and this is why I say common sense is not that common. During the last major holiday we had, federal holiday, which was Martin Luther King Day, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel who did one of those man on the street kind of things. And basically they were talking to someone about Martin Luther King, and they asked them a question, and honestly, I didn't hear very much of it because I don't know if they played a clip about it or if they were just talking about it. But apparently this person had no idea that Martin Luther King was dead. They're talking about the last time they saw him, it looked like they had lost a little bit of weight and that they needed to take better care of themselves. I'm thinking, right now, brother, he's lost about all the weight he's ever going to lose. Just throwing that out there. But that's the whole point. Common sense is not common. There's another study going around right now that millennials, they don't seem to even be able to name a single senator or congressman from their home districts. I mean, I'm not the political guru as far as, that kind of stuff like Steve Long. I mean, you ever get a chance to talk to him, you really should, because you can rattle off something, he'll be able to basically, especially if you're in the same area as him, and you start asking him who his state senators are and who his legislators are and all that stuff, he'll be able to pop them off right and left and not miss a beat. Me, I'm not that guy, but I do know I know enough to know that some of the names of the folks that are in my district, and it's not like I can't look them up if I need to know them. But the simple fact of the matter is there are people that can't even do that much. They can't name one, just one. I mean, come on. How hard is it to name somebody that is working for you in your district? You just probably voted for them, but you can't remember their names. Or maybe it's because they voted for the other guys. I don't know. Now, to take things on a little bit more of a local level before we take the commercial break here in just a minute, we did have the state address here in Oklahoma. I'll actually be trying to see if I can find some of that information for the shows later this week, kind of go over a little bit of it here. I may actually save most of that for Saturday because it is typically the longer formatted show, and that way I'm not burning a whole hour listening to Mary Fallon because, again, I am a conservative, can't much stand the lady anymore. But I do think there are some things that I have heard bits and pieces about that I thought were important, so we're going to kind of cover them here. Only because, again, as far as I'm concerned, some of it is kind of important. All right, so State of the State, we'll be covering that probably starting Saturday. That will probably be something where we'll cover it, and then I'll probably come back to some of it through the following week. Tomorrow night, this show will not be live. I'm still toying with doing a replay, but I'll tell you right now, I think what I'm honestly thinking about doing, because tomorrow night is Jason DeWilkins' regular night over here on According to Me. So, because, over on 405, he gets played before Bunny. And see, right now, when I'm live on Friday nights, Bunny, I open for Bunny. And over there, he opens for Bunny. So I think tomorrow night, we may flip it around a little bit, just for fun, and make Bunny open for Jason as the replay of the last episode that I have, and then play his last episode right back to back. Because, sadly, there are some tax-related issues I need to take care of tomorrow, so I will be out of the building. So I will not be available for a live broadcast tomorrow. So I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to do a replay of my own, or just kind of play with stuff a little bit. And honestly, the idea to kind of flip things around and have Bunny open for Jason just seems kind of funny, because he's always talking about how he's her crappy opening act. I'm thinking, well, damn, on Friday that makes me not only your crappy opening act on Wednesdays, but hers. So maybe I'll flip everything on Fridays. So maybe I'll flip everything around and make her his opening act for once, even though they aren't necessarily going to be live broadcasts. Okay, so we have come to that point in time where I have to take a break because, you know, the downside about trying to get everything so formatted is it didn't used to matter if I started a couple minutes late here and there because I could just go long, but there's another show after this one, and then there's 2 more shows after that one. So sadly, you guys are only going to get to put up with me on this solo rant and rave just a little bit longer. We have actually hit the point where we're going to have to take a little bit of a quick commercial break just so I can take care of a few things, and we'll be right back here in just one moment.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com.
This is Misty, owner of Waxit Studio in Edmond, Oklahoma, and I'm here to talk to you about a skincare product called Theramedics. Theramedics has a wonderful line of products from anti-aging to hyperpigmentations all the way to acne. In fact, everyone at some point in our life is affected by acne. Acne can cause a great deal of embarrassment and anxiety, and in order to prevent and help other people, I have tapped into this wonderful product called Theramedics. Visit my website at www.prettyskindeep.com. Again, that's www.prettyskindeep.com.
Tune into The Family Factor with Denny C. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 5 a.m. as he looks at all the challenges facing the family today. Denny will give you a refreshingly new look at tackling some of the biggest issues. So start your day off on the right foot with Denny C. and The Family Factor, right here on K98Talk.com.
Calls, we got a pen and telephone to bypass all your laws. Political correctness will replace the Bill of Rights. Support religious freedom, lest you pray to Jesus Christ. The press is in our pockets cause there's no longer free. You cannot make a move now that the NSA can see. Don't expect equality, respect, or fair play. The IRS will target those who vote the wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome to the place.
All right, folks, we're back. We're live. We are now officially inside the second half of the America Off the Rails show. I am your host, Rick Robinson. Again, this is, if you're listening live, Tuesday evening, 6:35 on February the 3rd. For those of you that are listening live, of course, if you're not, this show is available through several different venues, so feel free to find the one that you like the most. Preferably something maybe like Stitcher or iHeartRadio. It's available through both of those as a podcast. I don't know. I still haven't been able to really figure out if iHeart carries anything live or not. I don't think they do because I think they want time to make sure that nothing goes completely terribly wrong. But I have occasionally seen some things sneak through, so I'm still wondering if they carry it somewhat live or not. But just to kind of recap everywhere, because I usually try to do this at the beginning of the show, but this was one of those discombobulated kind of days. So this is where this show is currently available. You can find podcasts available on our SoundCloud page at thesparkradionetwork.com, which is the network that I am the managing partner of. I'm also the general manager, or the programming director, sorry, didn't mean to take somebody else's job title, of K98talk.com. So you can find our podcast page on the website that features all of the shows that are available through K98 Talk, whether they're exclusive to Spark or through other providers. You can also find this particular show on Stitcher. We are working on getting some of the K98 Talk exclusive content moved over there as well. Also, the station is live 24/7 and available through TuneIn Radio, which was pretty cool. So feel free to find us there. If you already have TuneIn on your phone, just search K98talk.com. Click the follow button, and I'm sure you'll like it. We are adding more content soon to try to fill up more of the morning time frames, because our evenings have gotten pretty full. Sadly, a lot of us have day jobs and other things that get in the way. Otherwise, if we could really find a way to do it, hint for you folks looking to advertise, we would actually run this kind of stuff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never turn it off, and never look back either. But anyway, if you are, I know we play this a lot, but if you are someone who's either interested in thinking about starting a business and you're not sure how to get the word out, we do have some fairly reasonable advertising packages. Depending on what it is that you want, things start as cheap as $25 a month, and they do kind of go up from there. For $25 a month, basically you get one of us talking on usually at least 1 to 2 shows that air weekly, or sometimes more, because occasionally we'll just throw them out there, because a lot of times what we'll do for the $25 a month packages, we'll use you guys as kind of the commercial free breaks. So when we run long, we'll be like, hey, sponsor this half hour, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, if you just want the general basic shout out, we can do that right now while we're building for about $25 a month. You want full commercial and you do all the work, then we can usually do that for anywhere from like $50 to $75. You want full commercial that we do the work, those typically start around $100, $125. So, I mean, we have several different prices that are available. And, of course, because we are multimedia, we have lots of other ways to get information out to you rather than just on the radio station itself. So, yeah. Sorry, someone's trying to get my attention here. It's just that guy. You know what? I'll be dealing with you soon enough, so you can just get... Somebody chatted to me, and I don't want to talk to you right now. No, I'm just playing. It's my co-host that'll be coming up with us here in about 20 minutes. I guess letting me know that he is ready and available when we're ready to change gears. Okay, so a few other things I definitely wanted to touch on, and then we will have to start winding things down just a bit because we're down to about 15 minutes. That gives me time to get everything changed over. There's lots of stuff going on in the news, and I think I'll try to cover some more this Thursday when I come back with you guys live. But, you know, giving credit where credit is due. I actually saw something from another host that we air on K98 Talk. Now, it's not something that we produce, but it is one of the shows that we air, and that's the Liz Harrison radio show. And people are going to hate me for saying this, but hey, I got to do something to get my conservative card back. I mean, I just had to admit that I agreed with Hillary. So let's go completely the other direction and just make sure that nobody wants to take that damn conservative card away. You know, there was a story out about, you know, this recent pilot that was executed. Apparently, the nation that pilot belongs to has threatened to execute every ISIS prisoner they have. You know, and a fellow talk show host, still sometimes seems weird to say that, a fellow talk show host, Liz Harrison, of Liz Harrison Radio Show and The Right War with Liz and Taylor and The Conservative Feminist Show, and so many that at this point I'm not sure if I'm leaving any out. We do air 2 of the 3 of those shows here on K98 Talk. She'll actually be on later this evening on the Liz Harrison Show, 9 o'clock Central. But she actually made a Facebook post that for once I actually completely agree with. We don't always see eye to eye. She leans a little more libertarian, I think, than I do. But this is something that I think is rather appropriate. Basically, and this is a paraphrase at this point because I don't have it pulled up, but her thoughts in regards to ISIS: we should execute every single Islamic terrorist prisoner that we have in Guantanamo Bay, and basically send a message out to ISIS that says, now we're just making room for you. Because here's the thing. These people don't have the same values that we do. We can try to impose Western culture on them. We can try to impose our personal belief system onto them, but they don't have it. They don't care. It's apparent from the way they treat their own people that they could give a crap less about the majority of humanity. I mean, I've talked about this before, about a story that I heard from a guy who said, he grew up with a kid who was Muslim, and he was an Americanized Muslim. So, I mean, he was doing all the things that you shouldn't do if you're a practicing, crazy, go-nuts, Islamic militant Muslim. So, I mean, he was hanging out with, and this was when he was a teenager, he was hanging out with friends, drinking, smoking, doing all the things that teenage boys do. So everybody thought, no big deal, so what? He says he's a Muslim, seems a lot like a lot of folks that we say we're Christian and we're still doing all these things. But then something changed because unbeknownst to anyone else, this kid had a sister, everybody knew that. But unbeknownst to everybody else, Dad found out that sister was dating someone who wasn't a Muslim. Dad felt offended. Dad called upon son to avenge the family honor. Son, the partying, drinking, smoking, hanging out with his friends, Muslim, burnt his sister to death. This is something you really need to stop and think about for just a moment. Is this the real reason why the administration has stopped using the words Islamic terrorist? Because look at everything that came out when American Sniper came out in theaters. You had all of these Muslims coming out of the woodwork and all of these pro-Islamic folks coming out of the woodwork talking about how it places Muslims in a bad light. No, it shines a light of truth on a lot of the crap that everybody had to go through over there. And this was not a pro-war movie. This was a pro-people movie because this just showed over and over again the kind of things that everybody had to deal with over there. I mean, this guy that they labeled the Butcher of Baghdad was taking drills to the hands of people's children to try to get them to say the things that he wanted them to say and to admit the things that he felt were important. And yet we're calling Chris Kyle the monster. Sorry, a little bit off topic, but it's still kind of the same general idea. Like I said, the biggest thing that concerns me about all of this is, we've been namby-pambying around these guys ever since Obama took office, and it shows in the way they treat us. So now I don't have it in front of me again. At some point, I'm going to have to remember to start bringing up my tablet to keep track of all the stuff that I actually want to talk about, because unfortunately, with this new setup, every once in a while it goes memory hog, and I can't really pull much of anything else up because I have everything running through a single console. But anyway, I think wasn't it a Jordanian pilot? So now they basically put out the word that they plan on executing all of these terrorists that they have. I think the rest of the world needs to follow suit because, come on, look at what happened in France. If France, I don't think they were, but if they were holding any terrorists at that point in time, if it were me and I was the president of France, I'd have hung them from the yardarms and said, okay, you want to attack my people, this is what you get. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because that's the type of stuff these people understand. You have to compare the differences between Western culture and that culture. One of the quickest ways to do that is to look at business practices. In the Western culture, the one who is calm, succinct, organized, looks nice, can make a good presentation, makes valid points, they win the day. In their culture, the one who comes in and screams the loudest, bangs on his chest the most, threatens to beat the crap out of people, yeah, they're the ones that win the day time and time again because that's the type of thing that they understand. You have to realize they are still in them as far as the Islamic fundamentalists, the crazy ones. I'm not saying all Muslims, but the Islamic fundamentalists, the crazy ones, they still think of things in 7th century perspectives. And we're trying to come at them with 21st century logic. Oh no, not only no, but hell no. As far as I'm concerned, bomb them even further back to the Stone Age because they barely left it as it is. We need to stop namby-pambing around these people. I mean, come on. Next thing you know, Obama's going to be freaking out because this country that had their pilot burned to death isn't apologizing because the Islamists got mad. Ooh, you don't make them any more angry. You should just tell them that you're sorry. No, hell with that. Hell with that. If you're going to kill our people, we kill your people. You don't like it? Don't kill my people. It's not a hard concept. I mean, come on. These are the same people that a couple of weeks ago killed, 12 kids for watching a soccer game. And we're going to try to bargain and reason with these people? No, I'm sorry, we're not. They're aberrations on society. They're aberrations against the human genome, and they need to be wiped off the face of the earth. And if you don't like that, turn off the channel. I don't care. I'm done sugarcoating crap. Especially when it comes to this. And this isn't talking about all Muslims. So for anybody who is listening, who is a practicing, moderate, everyday, normal, middle-of-the-road Muslim, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you until the day that you pick up an axe and decide you're going to come after somebody with it. Then we'll start talking about you if you cross that line. But for all of these that have not only crossed that line, but you've taken the happy little go-lucky fly and go motherfucking leap over that line, yeah, we're going to talk because I'm done being nice to y'all. You guys are over there killing people for no reason other than because they don't fit your little mold. And I'm so tired of everybody sitting around going, oh no, let's wring our hands. Let's worry about it some more. Hell with that. I mean, when do we let fear dictate the day? When did we become that country? We were the ones that used to look fear in the eye and tell it to sit down and shut the hell up. And now we're the guys that just go, oh, but what if we offend them? What are we gonna do? We can't say that. We can't do that. We can't go over there and actually stand up for people. No. That might offend more of them. That might make more of them angry. And then what are we going to do if we make them angry? You know what? Shut up and sit down. Why don't you let the real men drive for a while? Because this whole metrosexual thing that is like taking over everything, I'm so sick of that crap. I'm so sick of these well-coiffed guys that are all like, oh yeah, baby, how you doing? Yeah, you know me, got your, I mean, come on. Who the hell's got time for all that crap? And it's infiltrating everything. Now we're all worried about whether or not we can get along with everybody or whether or not we're going to hurt everybody's feelings. I talked about this a little bit last night with this whole like a girl campaign. You know what? I'm going to say it again. Every guy friend I have, we give each other crap. We do that on purpose. 1, it's fun. 2, it distracts us. And 3, it's fun. Nobody's trying to hurt anybody's feelings. We're trying to, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's how guys are. We give each other crap. We have cut-down contests. We talk about, we have your mama jokes. I mean, come on. Who the hell didn't grow up talking about your mama jokes? Now you can't say your mama joke because you do that and somebody might cry. I mean, come on. Hell, I grew up, half my friggin', from 10 to 12 was cut-down jokes. Your house so small, you put the key in the front door and it comes out the back porch window. I mean, come on. Why have we suddenly turned into all these people that we're so worried about what everybody else is going to think? We're so worried about whether or not we offend people. I'm tired of always having to be nice. That doesn't mean I don't want to be nice, but there are times when I shouldn't have to be nice. If there are people that are legitimately trying to kill me, I should not have to go out of my way to be nice to them. How is this not common sense? If people are trying to kill me, I don't have to be nice to them. I mean, can I just, just to kind of bring things back around a little bit, can I get a little bit of an amen on that one at least? I mean, come on. You know you got at least one in you. I know there's a few of you out there listening. Can I get an amen? If somebody's trying to kill us, we ain't got to be nice to them, do we? I mean, no. Anybody? Bueller. Bueller, anybody? I mean, come on. I mean, the thing that boggles my mind, the administration keeps taking all these laps talking about how the terrorists that are doing all of this stuff are not Islamic. They're not the true Islam. Then fine, take away their prayer rugs, take away their head coverings, take away their Qurans and whatever compendium books they have with them, and say, I'm sorry, as far as we're concerned, you're not Muslim, so you can have these anymore. Betcha that won't happen. You know why that won't happen? Because they're afraid they're going to piss more of them off. That's the point they don't want to talk to you about. They don't know who the extremists are and who they aren't. So they want everybody to walk around on eggshells because, God forbid, there be so many more of them that we can't do anything about it. How many people in this country do we have that own guns? Anybody? Show of hands? You can't see my hands, so I'm not saying anything about it on the air, but just saying. I mean, come on. That's the whole reason the Japanese never made it to the mainland. In the words of the emperor, there would be a gun behind every blade of grass. So this is the reason why I've always been anti-gun registration, anti-pretty much gun takeaway of any kind, because this is our last line of defense. When the stuff really hits the fan, the fact that there are lots of us, I'm not saying whether I am or I am not one of them, because I don't want anybody knocking on my door trying to take my guns away. If I do have said guns, which you've never heard me admit one way or the other, except for on maybe other shows. I guess I need to go back and look and see if I've deleted that little bit. But anyway, so back to what I was saying a moment ago. It's time to take common sense back. There are lots of us that have it. Lots of us that have it that choose not to use it. And there are lots of us that don't have it at all. So it's time to start making common sense common again. Common sense tells me if someone's trying to kill me, I don't have to be nice to them. Common sense tells me if someone's trying to kill you, you don't necessarily have to be nice to them either. So that doesn't mean we need to pander to this group in the fear that there may be more of them out there that we don't know about yet. So, in the interest of the first part of the show, when I did agree with someone who was not of my particular political stripe, I'm going to agree with someone who is, for the most part, from what I've been able to hear, along the same line as me, possibly a little more libertarian than I am. That would be Liz Harrison, and the comment that she made on Facebook about, as far as she's concerned, we need to wipe out all the terrorists that are still in Gitmo, close it down for a little while, and just tell ISIS we've made room for them and we're waiting for them to show up. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. All right, so we are getting to the point where I'm about to have to wind everything down. We've got a couple of minutes left. I'd like to thank everybody who's tuned in. I know this one was a little more disorganized and a little shorter than usual. At some point, I'll figure out how to juggle all this programming director, live talk show, try to work 8 hours a day, all that fun stuff, and get it to the point where I can actually do a full hour instead of usually anywhere from 45 to 50 minutes. But we are going to go ahead and shut everything down here in just about another minute, just so I can start making room for the next show that'll be back with us here starting at 7. That is going to be Wake Up America. Again, our guest on that show will be Ruthie of the Ruthie Report. I'll give a full bio here in a little bit for her. She did give us a little bit of information, but I want to save that for when she's on the air with us. And then for the first half of the show, Denny and I will probably be talking about some of the stuff that's going on in the news, and then we'll, right before the break, change gears, maybe talk a little bit about immigration. Then we'll bring the expert on and let her give you guys an overview. One of the reasons we're doing this is because we are actually at some point planning on hopefully getting to air the Ruthie Report right here on K98Talk.com, and we'd like to start taking a little bit of time here and there to introduce you, the listeners, to one of the new hosts that we plan on bringing over here and replaying her show. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and shut everything down for the night. I will be right, well, for America Off the Rails anyway. I'll be right back with you guys here in just a little bit for Wake Up America. I'm Rick Robinson. You guys have a great night. Don't forget to tune right back in here in just a few minutes for a special edition of Wake Up America with myself, Denny C., and our guest for the last half of the show, Miss Ruthie from the Ruthie Report. And you guys have a good night, and I'm going to stop talking for at least 5 minutes now. Take care, guys. Don't forget, not live tomorrow, back with you Thursday.
It's for phone calls. We got a pen and telephone to bypass all your laws. Political correctness will replace the Bill of Rights. Support religious freedom, lest you pray to Jesus Christ. The press is in our pockets cause it's no longer free. You cannot make a move now that the NSA can see. Don't expect equality, respect, or fair play. The IRS will target those who vote the wrong way. We'll call